Hi, I am Tina Moenck. I am the author of the Soap Making Handbook Volume 1 and the creator of the e-course Masterclass Advanced Soap Formulations. They are available at my website, naturalsudsandmore.com, right there. They are also available on Gumroad directly. Those links are what's on my website too. I am also the creator and the admin of a big Facebook group called Soap Making and Business Coaching. At this current moment in time, we have over 22,000 people, and we are getting more and more brand new soap makers into the group every day. And I absolutely love it. It's what the group is for. We have loads of information in the files for free. We have beginner recipes, lye safety, and also for the people that are interested in the business side of it, I have lots of business workbooks that I've put together for free in the files for you. So please remember to check that out. And I wanted to do a series of short videos on soap making basics just for the beginners. So I'm going to break down several different things. So there'll be several short videos for you. I do have the lye safety video. If you have never made soap before, that's where you start. You go over the lye safety basics. That is super, super important, okay? I also have a beginner cold process soap making video, which will give you kind of the whole rundown, like the supplies that you need and the whole process. But I'm just going to break down individual things that aren't in that video just to help you. That's what I'm about. I'm here to help you and serve you. And I also have a brand new Patreon page. It's patreon.com/Tina Moenck right there. And that is just another tool for me to be able to serve you better. If you'd like to join my exclusive community on Patreon, you can just go to that link and check that out and become a patron. I do offer a exclusive community Facebook group just for my patrons, and we're just getting this started up at this current moment in time. So I would love to have you check that out as well. I also have some really other cool rewards. It's all there for you. But in this video, we are just going to start with lye basics. You have the lye safety in the other video. I'm just going to go over some more information about lye that is very, very important for beginners, okay? So let's start with lye is a very strong alkali. It has a pH of 14, which is at the top of the scale there. And that's why it is so imperative that you use lye safety and make sure that you don't get burned and you know everything that you need to know about all that, okay? But let's get into lye information and lye water and ratios and all of that for your soap recipes, okay? Now, there are two basic lyes that we use for soap making. The first one is sodium hydroxide, NaOH, and potassium hydroxide is the other, that's KOH. Sodium hydroxide is used for bar soap, and the potassium hydroxide is used for liquid soap. I do have a liquid soap making video too if you want to check that out. Where do you get lye? There are several suppliers of lye. Soap making suppliers sell it. Brambleberry, the Lye Guy, the list goes on and on and on. But you can get it from your hardware store sometimes. I used to get it from my hardware store, but they stopped selling the one that I used, and so I am not going to get it there anymore. I've been getting it from the Lye Guy. But you want to make sure that you are getting 100% lye, and you want to make sure you're getting the crystals. Okay, that's super, super important to know, okay? You want to make sure that you're not getting liquid stuff or getting something that's not 100% lye, because you don't know what's in there, you don't know what's going to end up in your soap, okay? That's one of the biggest factors that you need to know about lye, okay? But mixing lye, let's talk about water ratios for your recipes and things like that. Lye needs its own weight in water to dissolve correctly. So if you need 6 ounces of lye, 6 ounces of water is needed to dissolve that. And that is a 1-to-1 ratio. And that is a very strong solution. And I never work with that because you're going to end up with accelerated trace. You're going to have some other issues as well. So and plus it's stronger, which means there's a little bit more risk with it. So a lot of people will use 1.5 to 1 ratio with the water to lye. So there's a little bit extra water. And I would actually recommend that anyway as a buffer, just in case any of your measurements are off. And yes, you want to make sure that you have a digital scale. This is very, very important in soap making. You want to make sure that you have a scale that reads in grams and ounces. Okay, we never, ever, ever go by volume when we're making soap. It is always by weight. That is very, very important. Okay, so make sure you have a very good scale for soap making. That's one of the biggest things you need to have. You need to make sure everything is weighed correctly. I know a lot of people comment they want to make soap without lye, and I want to comment on that here. If you don't have lye, you don't have soap. So lye is needed, okay? I'll go over in another video like what is soap and all of that information there, but here we're just going to go over the lye basics for you, okay? So the melt and pour is another option if you don't want to physically work with the lye, but melt and pour is a soap base that's already been made with lye, so the lye is inactive, okay? So either way, it's just the melt and pour is like the way you're going to be able to work with it, where you're just going to melt it, color it, add your scents, and then you're going to mold it. So if you don't want to work with the lye just yet and you want to try the melt and pour, that's your option. But when you're ready to go jump in with this, you want to make sure that you have this knowledge down. Okay, super important. Okay, let's talk about water amounts for your recipe. Like I said, lye needs its own weight in water to dissolve correctly, but I really recommend using a little bit more water than that. For cold process soap, use 30%. And for my hot process soaps, I use 38% water. Okay, and that percentage is of the total oil weight in my recipe. Okay, so that's very important to understand. Full water amount is going to be 40%, and I don't ever recommend using that amount. That is going to be a really longer cure, and it's also going to be a softer soap. So even for hot process soap, I only recommend using, well, what I do for hot process soap is use 38%, and my cold process soap, like I said, is 30%. Some people use 25%. It's really your preference. So when you start experimenting with recipes and water amounts, you are going to find what you like and what works best for you. Okay, so you don't have to do it how I do it or how somebody else does it. You're going to find what works best for you in that, okay? Your water amounts really affect, what you're going to be able to do with your recipe. Okay, so if you use 30% water for your cold process, so 30% of the oil weight, remember that. That is going to give you enough time to work with it. If you have, a recipe that isn't completely full of saturated oils, okay? And the saturated fats are going to be the ones that are hard at room temperature, your coconut oil, palm oil, etc., okay? Those are going to trace quicker. And I will go over trace in another video, and I will actually demonstrate it and show you the whole process from emulsification and trace so that you can actually see that and understand it. But just know that the more water that you have and the more liquid oils that you have, the more time you are going to be able to work with your recipe, okay? And like I said, once you get to the point where you've experimented and you've got quite a few soap batches underneath your belt, later on, if you want to take the master class, Advanced Soap Formulations, to get even more information, that is available on my website. So if you have questions, please let me know. You can comment below or ask in the group, or if you're not comfortable asking in the group, you can always email me or message me. People do that all the time. So thank you so much for watching.